So whether you have a high A score or a low A score, or you don't know or you don't care, we're all better off if we're more resilient. So resilience is the ability to adapt to stress, to go with the flow, so to speak. Okay, so like you could say it's a positive adaptation to adversity, or just being able to adapt to stresses, not be rigid and break, but adapt. So the more we have of it, the better. But it's kind of like, and you probably all heard, you have a general idea of what resilience is. It's a commonly used word, and the scientific definition is kind of similar. Some people are more stressed by the same stressor than other people. We want to be in the group that's not so stressed, right? So regardless of A score, we want more resilience, and that's a big way to heal also from these traumas. But it's like, we can't be happy because we say we want to be happy, and we can't be mindful just because we decide today we're going to be mindful. It's kind of like resilience. We can't just say, my New Year's resolution is I am not going to be so stressed out anymore. I'm not. Because it just doesn't happen automatically. It's not something you can just will to happen. You have to take steps different from what you're taking in. So a lot of the conversation about healing has to do with steps that might increase resilience, steps that might help us gain control or positive thinking or adaptability or persistence or, self-efficacy. Yes, I can do it. I just proved it, so now I can do it again. And all of these kinds of things will help rewire some of these traumas. But it's just a really critical thing. It's not just an intention that you make. You really have to take steps. You have to decide to take action. You have to do something different than what you're doing now if you wish to see a change. So, I wanted to then look at that score. I lost my connection here. Just a second. Okay, so let's now go to the taking action part. We talked about all these depressing things, so let's figure out how to fix it. Let's say your score is high. You didn't. I would encourage you all to take the test. And by the way, there's many online resilience tests. I didn't print one because I couldn't tell. I don't think there's like one best, one most well-known. But you could evaluate how resilient you are if you're interested. But just say that you go home and you take this test thoughtfully, the ACE survey, and you think and you go, wow. If I'm really honest with myself, I have a high score. But it doesn't. It's not the end of the world. You just have to. If you think you're having ill effects, if you have not adapted well to those stresses, and if you are having some of these problems, then you can take steps to heal yourself. There's a great book, it's also on the list, that specifically addresses that. It's called Childhood Disrupted. And that particular author wrote about her own story and all the things she tried to heal herself. And she continues to write a great deal about healing from the effects of ACEs. But in general, I'm just going to read you a whole long list of stuff that we could all do that will make us more resilient, that will heal us. And it's different for each of us. Some of these things will sound terrible to you and some might appeal. Jean just told me she does tap dancing. Now that's got to be on the list. Anyways, writing, journaling, a regular gratitude practice where you would write down every single day one or two things you're grateful for. Art, some formal mindfulness meditation practice if you were interested in that. There's a very, very well-known program called Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, which is an 8-week program offered by many hospitals and organizations. It's the first mindfulness program. It's a secular meditation, but the health benefits are extraordinary. It was used for very seriously chronically ill, chronic pain patients with a lot of success. Tai Chi, yoga, loving kindness meditations, prayer, certainly, depending on what your beliefs are. Exercise, theater, dance, drama, any creative outlet, all kind of stress reduction techniques like breathing, making sure you have quiet in your life, nature, probably way high on the list, somehow building meaning into your life. If you don't have a sense that your life is meaningful, satisfying, maybe you need to take a new step and do something different. And usually that might involve reaching out to other people and thinking, going beyond yourself. That's usually where you get that meaning. In that book, The Body Keeps the Score, that it's just a fabulous book. It's got a lot of facts in there. He's a psychiatrist, and he started after the Vietnam War looking at these patients, these vets coming back who were freaking out, and PTSD wasn't even a known diagnosis then. So he was involved in defining that ailment and working on a treatment. And what he learned is that traditional, what he called top-down therapy didn't work. You can't just tell somebody who's freaking out with, fireworks that that's not bombs, that's fireworks. The brain knows that. It's not talk therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy may not work. It's blocked somehow. And he started experimenting with all kinds of things he called bottom-up therapy. And some of you may have heard, they talk about body work and things like that. It's like changing the body, and somehow that goes backwards up and changes the circuits and heals the brain. I can't explain the neuroscience, but all I say is it works. And he one of the first successes he had was yoga. And he would, people with these vets would start yoga where nothing else had worked before. Somehow there was a softening and an opening that would allow more conventional therapy to be helpful. So it's kind of cool. So that's, bottom-up therapy. Okay, so that's if your score is high. Now the next one, if you think your adult child score is higher, say you have a kid. This one bothers me a lot because my first marriage wasn't the greatest. My kids were raised in a not very wonderful home environment, and then he died. So their score is right off the bat higher than mine. And, I'm worried about it. Sometimes I see things, I go, oh. So all I can say is it certainly doesn't help to be guilty about it, because we all did the best we could as parents. Just like our parents, even if they screwed up, they did the best they could. It's hard being a parent. But all those things I just mentioned, plus a lot of prayer and surrender, will also heal, make you feel better if perhaps you're suffering because you're worried about your kids. Or, I don't think it does help to try and fix your kids' problems. But then we usually learn that, those of us who have adult kids, or even little kids, right? You can't always, they have to solve a lot of their own problems. Anyways.